James Marion Singleton IV, 1966, a BA in architecture and a BS in architectural construction. Well, I'm a war baby. I was born right in the middle of World War II, 1943. My dad was in the Army Air Corps, stationed in Florida. That's where I was born. And then we, after the war, moved to Pennsylvania, New York, Ontario, Canada. And then finally he said, I need to go back to A&M and finish my degree that was interrupted in World War II. So we did that. I actually started first grade at A&M Consolidated. After all that, we ended up in San Antonio, where I went to Alamo Heights High School before coming to A&M. You know, to get to play football for Texas A&M and be in the Corps Cadets, golly, what else could you ask for, really? It was a great time. It really was. It was a very different time. 1962, we were the Agricultural Mechanical College of Texas. 7,000 guys. We were all in the Corps Cadets, no women. But in the first 2 years that I was at A&M, all that changed. And of course, the biggest change was when President Rutter announced that we were going to allow women into A&M. Greatest thing that ever happened to A&M. You know, I think about it now myself, and I wonder, how did I do all that? But to answer your question, I think a big reason why I was able to do everything at one time was I lived in the football dormitory on campus for 5 years. Redshirted 1 year, so I actually played for 5 years. And architecture at that time was a 5-year degree plan, so everything worked out perfectly for me. 5 years and 5 years. Also, I did not have a car, not until my senior year at A&M. All of my meals were at Sabisa Hall, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And so I was really a campus body. I didn't leave. I didn't have a car. I wasn't tempted to leave or able to leave on the weekends like a lot of my teammates. I just stayed here on campus, went to my classes, did my work, studied. Well, certainly having both degrees increased my competence because really they enhanced each other and it rounded my education. But more than anything, I think having the 2 degrees increased my confidence, knowing that whatever creative projects I might come up with, that I could translate that into bricks and mortar, knowing that I had the other degree as well. So they complemented each other, and I'm proud to have them both. Well, I want you to know I'm very proud of my service to my country, and I'm very proud to be a Vietnam veteran. I just happened to be the right age at the wrong time and was called to duty, but I accepted that responsibility and quite proud that I made the best of it. Yes, my primary duty in Vietnam was I was lead helicopter scout pilot. That meant I was the first one in on wherever we were going that day. And I don't look at that as having courage. That was my job. I accepted that responsibility then. I knew that somebody had to lead the pack, and I knew I could do it, so I did it. As far as the military shaping me, you know, the Army was good lessons in my life to work with each other and work with people and work with teams. But it was really the Corps Cadets that shaped me for my Army duty, and then my Army experiences sure helped shape me for my professional life. Well, as I just mentioned, the Army really shaped me for understanding and experiences of teamwork. As an architect, you have to be a team leader. The AIA standard form of agreement is an AE contract most of the time, architects and engineers. We have to be the leaders. We have to coordinate all of that work and collaborate with all the other engineers and the other professionals to run the team and have a successful project. Well, at A&M, I learned a design thinking process. You use your creative skills and the design thinking process to come up with some sort of a solution that fits the needs of your client. So I would create, but not create in a vacuum. I created because I wanted to solve a problem for my clients. I wanted to meet their needs, their goals, their expectations. And so I used my creative skills to do that. And whenever I had a satisfied, happy client, then that was my reward, and I was very happy and satisfied as well. Well, you never ever quit creating. I mean, we're architects. That's what we do, is create. So every project is a brand new challenge, a new opportunity to create something. I would have to say that my first mentor, of course, was my father. I'm the oldest of 6 children. I did a lot of babysitting when I was growing up. And every time that my parents would leave for the evening, the last thing my father would say is, "Jimmy, you're in charge." So I learned how to be in charge very early on and kept that knack. And quite frankly, through everything I've done, I've always felt like I'm in charge. Other mentors that meant so much to me were Ed Romanek, special dean, professor, and a mentor to me. We had some pretty turbulent and demanding situations at times, but they were wonderful. And he's still in my memories. Almost every single week I remember his very wise words. Others that meant so much to me: Cecil Stewart, Chartier Newton, other names that people today will recognize: John Onley Greer and David Woodcock, George Mann. We were all a lot younger back then, but I'm realizing now how much they meant to me then for what I'm benefiting today because of what they taught me so long ago. I played football and other sports for 13 years, and so you can't help but think about your coaches. Coaches are natural mentors. They meant a lot to me. And while Gene Stallings is some sort of a legend, that really on the football team, my closest mentor was my offensive line coach. I played center. But Bud Moore meant an awful lot to me in my time at A&M. And then I would want to mention Major Simmons over at the Trigon. Major Simmons' guidance and influence really helped me to become a helicopter pilot in the Army. I'm not so sure I would have been without Major Simmons. They were all great mentors. Well, the education of our students is the future of this country. And so I really get a big satisfaction out of providing new facilities for these students. I love it when I go to the grand opening of the school and see the faces of these students and the teachers, their surge of pride that they have with the new facilities. And it just makes me feel good that I have provided a much better teaching environment and a much better learning environment for the teachers and the students. Makes me feel good. I like doing schools. Okay, well, you're touching on my love story now. And that's another story for another time. I'll give you a Cliff Notes version. Stephanie and I met in 1964 while we were in school. We liked each other a lot. But then we went our separate ways, didn't see each other for 26 years. And after 26 years, we re-encountered. We got married, and she's from Bryan. I'm an Aggie. So deciding to move to Aggie land was an easy decision to open up a new office in 1998 with my new bride. You know, we have just buried one of the finest, most distinguished men in the history of this country, President George H.W. Bush, last week. When he opened his library 21 years ago, Stephanie and I had been married only about a year, but his words were, "Life is not complete without service to others." We took those words to heart, and I think we can safely say that we wanted to fulfill our lives, make them complete by service to others, and we appreciate and thank President Bush for leading by example. First of all, those are wonderful honors, and I'm very proud to have them. I did not seek those honors. Those honors were not on my goal list or my bucket list, but it was because of friends that felt I deserved those that nominated me for those honors. So really the reward here is knowing that I have such wonderful friends. I would emphasize to anyone to make as many friends and have as many friends, good friends, as you possibly can. I have friends, really great friends in all walks of life. They all have one common denominator, and that is that they all have character. They're honest, they know right from wrong, and they know they can trust me and I can trust them. Make friends, have friends, cherish your friends. That would be my message. How do I want to be remembered? I think anybody that knows me is going to remember me as a husband who loved his wife more than anything in the world. I want to be remembered for that. I want to be remembered for being the father of our children and helping them in every way I can. I want to be remembered for honoring my friends. I have such wonderful friends. But most of all, to know that I lived and worked life to the fullest. I would advise the students to study. Study to learn, learn to study, because once you get that degree, you're not finished. You're just starting all over again, because you will be studying and learning the rest of your life as an architect, because that's what we do.